Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. It's just Marco here, and I was supposed to actually film a video today where I ranked all the Friday the 13th babes, but I got a little caught up in the past couple of days because I had a doctor's appointment today at like 8 o'clock in the morning. That was a big mistake. Don't ever get an 8 o'clock doctor's appointment because it's too early. And so I wasn't really up to like doing all the research to rank all the women because there's tons and tons of girls that I'm going to have to rank. And then I'm going to have to edit that. And, yesterday's video was so late because of Safi. And so I am going to do the final girls ranked today and rank the masks that Jason wore in the series today. And then on the day that I was supposed to rank the masks, I'm going to rank the Friday the 13th babes. And of course, Safi still has to do her Saw Chicks video, her second video. And also, I would like to say, I did see the Goosebumps news of R.L. Stine praising the censorship of his own books. And yes, we will be talking about that, but we're going to wait until the video on Friday, where we review the show, Night of the Living Dummy. It's going to be the bastardization of that book on screen. So we will be talking about that then. Anyways, now on to the video. There are 12 final girls. In general, I hate final girls. I think that they're some of the worst parts of horror movies because not because like I don't like a lot of the classic ones, but because it became like this weird trend, and it became this thing where, like, as I've said many times on this channel, studios do not take the right messages from horror films. And there's so many horror films nowadays, well, horror in quotes, where, they're just following this formula that they think they have to follow. You have the final girl, you have the legacy character, you plagiarize other movies, or you plagiarize the movies in the series, and it's sickening. And it gets to the point where it's like, okay, stop with the final girl bullshit. Because a lot of the movies in this series have final guys. So, like, where's the final guys anymore? Like, why is it that there's this, like, weird emphasis? And I hate the fact that a lot of them, they don't feel like they earn the title of final girl at all. Like, I haven't done final girls ranked for Halloween series yet, because I didn't really think about doing that, honestly, when I did those Halloween series videos. But, like, a great example would be Allison, the grandson, from the shitty-ass Blumhouse Halloween trilogy. She had no business being a final girl at all. She was a terrible actress, and she did a terrible job in the role. And, she was just a boring trash character, and she was awful. And she's definitely, like, one of the worst final girls. And then, like, the ones in the Scream series, the shitty Scream series, the Core 4, like, these are some of the worst final girls in history. And it's all because studios think they have to follow this stupid formula. If they didn't think they had to follow this stupid formula, we would get a lot more, like, unique horror movies. We'd get a lot better characters. Like, I really think one of my favorite horror characters in general is a final guy. I really like Reggie from the Phantasm series. That is a final guy. And so, anyways, let's get to this list. Number 12 is the girl from Jason X. This girl, I did like the idea of she gets killed in the beginning, basically. She gets frozen, and then they bring her back, and they regenerate her. I thought that that was actually a really cool idea, to have, like, the final girl, like, get really injured at the beginning with Jason, and then she gets brought back. But the thing is that her character's terrible. She's boring, bland. She's like a piece of halibut without any seasoning. And halibut is already like one of the most overrated fishes of all time. But if you don't have any seasoning, no thanks. Her character sucks. She is really, really bland. And she doesn't really ever do anything interesting. Like, the girl that I thought was cool was the robot. Like, she gets her head cut off near the end, and she's still running around. And I thought, she's a lot better of a final girl than this chick. Number 11 is Laurie from Freddy vs. Jason. The reason why she's so low, even though she did kind of like take control at certain points, I guess, is because this movie, as I said in the rankings, this movie is when they really started to cement this formula and these stereotypes, and having like the final girl. She's got to be a boring girl. She's got to be with a pretty boy. She can't be with the nice guy. She's got to be with the pretty boy. And she's got to be boring and bland, and she's got to be a virgin, and she can't do drugs, and just all this shit. And there was one interesting thing about her that made me put her above the other girl. She is more attractive, but that's not what we're discussing in this video. But I did like the idea of Freddy Krueger raping her at the end. And so then, like, she would still be the final girl, but she'd get raped by Freddy Krueger. I thought that was an interesting concept. But unfortunately, Jason interrupts Freddy, so he doesn't get to rape her. So that's just kind of a missed opportunity, because there was nothing else about her character that was interesting at all. Like, there were no other dimensions. Like, the thing with what they could have done is, that would have been a really cool parallel with Scream. In Scream, where Sydney loses her virginity with the killer near the end of the movie. This could have been just like that, and interesting in that type of way. And of course, Scream was a much better movie, and it was not just following a formula, and it had multiple final guys and multiple final girls. It wasn't just one girl and that's it. So number 10 is the girl from Jason Takes Manhattan. This girl, she is lame. I mean, her outfit, like this weird, like, vest with the white shirt, like, very, very bizarre outfit choice. Very boring, very just, ugh. And her hair is kind of cute, but her character just really, really is boring. And she really has no good moments in the movie. Like, she had a dog, and I was thinking, it could have been really cool if at the end her and her dog fought Jason together or something, and like the dog helped her out and saved her a couple times, but the dog just kept like teleporting, and so like the dog wasn't even around very much. And the thing that really cements her at being a terrible final girl is at the end of the movie, she doesn't even have to do anything to defeat Jason. She throws some sludge on his face, but at the end, all she does is just run out of the sewer. She doesn't even have to do anything to earn being a final girl. She doesn't even have to fight Jason. And to me, that's just trash. Like, you can't be a great final girl if you don't have to do anything to defeat the villain. Because it's like you didn't really have to go through anything. You're just the final girl, which is trash. And then she was going to get raped too, and by the people in New York, and they drugged her, and so she was also like drugged up, and like just she was such a weak character. Really did not like her at all. And then number 9 is the final girl from part 3. Now this girl, she really irritated me because there was another girl in the movie who was like supposed to be with Shelley, and she wore all red, and I liked her a lot more than this girl, and I really wanted her and Shelley to be the final survivors of the movie together and then get together at the end. But instead, they killed both of those guys off, and they left you with this bland character who she had some encounter with Jason in the past, and I just rolled my eyes because that was stupid. And then her acting in this movie, she probably has the worst acting out of all the final girls, honestly. But I did love the movie a lot, and I loved the final chase at the end. She really had to do a lot of stuff to defeat Jason. I mean, she had to go through a 30-minute chase battle with Jason, and this was the Jason that could run. Basically, this wasn't the pussy Jason from Freddy vs. Jason or something. This was the OG Jason. This was not the Jason that you want to fuck with. Number 8, Number 8 is Alice from Friday the 13th original. Now, God, she is boring. This character is so boring. She is so poor. She's got nothing. These characters in this original movie, they've got nothing to them. They have nothing that makes them interesting. I do think that she is very, very pretty, and she's very, very nice in the movie. She seems like she's a really nice person, but her character is so bad, and she doesn't do anything until the very end when, I gotta admit, I did think she was cool at the end. And the last 20 minutes of the movie, that was the best part of the movie, as I've said many times before. But still, I was not really a fan of her. I felt this is why I don't like final girls. This is exactly why. Characters like this. I just wish they write better characters and stop doing the formula, because I'll say it once and I'll say it again. Once you know who the final girl is, the movie isn't scary. The movie isn't interesting. Because you know who's going to survive. That's not interesting. That's not scary. In Night of the Living Dead, you thought that Ben was going to survive, and he gets shot at the end. That movie's amazing. It's a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. Why? Because you thought you knew who was going to survive, and they're like, oh, you thought that Ben was going to survive? Oh, boom. Is that guy a zombie? Boom. That really upset me as a kid, too. I got pissed off at that movie as a kid, but I loved that. So it's better to think that the character might die, and then they don't. At least you could have the character, almost die or something, but, not this crap where you just know that they're going to survive all along. Mostly, that is not interesting. Number 7 is the girl from Jason Goes to Hell. She's really dumpy. I mean, the guy who made this movie, it's like he purposefully made the just the most dumpiest final girl imaginable. I mean, she's average, number 1. And I'm not talking about her personally. I'm talking about the character. And usually I state that at the beginning of the actress's videos, but I didn't with this one. But she's very average in the sense that she's a single mom, so that's different because she's not a virgin. That's for damn sure. And she's got a terrible weirdo boyfriend guy, and she does this thing at the end. And the only thing that I'll give her is that she actually was kind of smart, she actually was kind of like a fighter. And so I did like her a little bit more than others, but she did that thing at the end where she runs up to Jason, jumps on his back, reaches around him and stabs him. Like, the fact that she was able to do that is just, like, incredible. Because, like, I would imagine Jason, if someone tried to do that, he'd just fling them off like they're a fucking mosquito or something. Next up, number 6 is the girl from the remake. Now, this girl, she is blah. I mean, she looks so average. Like, I don't know who the actress is. I'm going to look up really quickly, or I'm going to try to, so that I can comment on her more. But at the beginning, you do not think that she's going to be the final girl, because she seemingly gets killed. I mean, Jason runs up to her, and he's going to fucking hit her in the head. Like, that was pretty scary. But it turns out that he takes her hostage. And, yeah, she is just really average. Like, she just looks like the 2000s girl personified. She looked a lot better in 2009, though, I'll say that. And, but I thought that it was cool that she managed to survive 6 months with Jason. I don't understand. How the fuck did she do that? Like, how is that possible? Like, why was Jason keeping her? Like, it's not even explained or anything. But I did think it was cool and badass how she was taken by him, and then she ends up defeating him. She was still kind of weak, though. I mean, I did a tier list of all these final girls, and she is still in the D category. So, just so you guys know, like, D, 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 and then there were 4 Fs. Now let's move on to the Cs. Number 5 is the sister from Friday the 13th for the final chapter. I really did not like this girl at all. I wish I could put her lower, because I do not like her as much as Alice, the girl from Jason Goes to Hell, or the one from the remake. But near the end, when she has to protect Corey Feldman, she becomes a lot more likable. And Safi said, and I would agree that, like, Corey Feldman actually, like, elevated her, because he made it so that she had to protect him, and she had to guard him. And I thought that made her character a lot better than she was throughout the rest of the movie. So she's pretty good. Now, number 4 is the final girl from Friday the 13th 5, A New Beginning. I gotta be honest, I really like this girl a lot. I think that she's really, really cool. She's very, very beautiful. And I loved her character. Is the one thing, though, is that she's supposed to be like one of the people in charge at Pinehurst, and it's more so the fault of the script than her. But we never get to see anyone get treated at this fucking treatment center, and so, like, I would have really liked to have seen her lead, like, a therapy session or something, or like a group talk session. But other than that, she's awesome. I really like her. And then at the end, where she has to protect Reggie, I felt like that made her likable too. And she really... The Jason in this movie, like, even though he wasn't actually Jason, I felt like he was one of the more brutal Jasons of the series. And I felt like it was much more of an achievement to defeat him than, like, let's say the one from Jason Goes to Hell, who just, like, body swaps and things. Number 3 is the girl from Part 6, Jason Lives. Once again, I love this girl. She's extremely interesting. She's extremely beautiful. I really think that the writer of Friday the 13th Part 6, he wrote characters. He wrote actual characters. He's like one of the only people in the series to like actually write characters for the whole movie, like that you care about. And she's awesome. Like, I love how she helps Tommy escape. I love how she, actually does things at the end to help Tommy without, like, overtaking him. Because at the end of the day, he was still, like, the main character of the movie, and she didn't really, like, overtake him at the end, or she didn't do the 2023 thing where she bashed him and bashed men, and then she said she's better than all the men in the movie. Like, she didn't ever do anything like that. So her character, I really love her character. She's a 10 out of 10. That's for damn sure. Number 2 is Tina from Part 7. Now, this is probably, I don't know, it's really hard to say because I don't want to give away the actresses list rankings, but she's probably she might be like the most beautiful girl in the series, and like the whole movie's built around her. I mean, it is all built around her, and so like there was really no failing for this final girl because she's the whole movie. You don't have a Friday the 13th Part 7 without her. And she's got badass powers. The fight with her and Jason at the end is just like epic. It is just so awesome and so fun. After all these movies of people scraping and scrounging against him, you got this girl who just she just stares at Jason and just fucking fucks him up to another level. And I love how she acts in this movie. I loved her character the whole time, and she didn't die at the end. I one of the reasons that I don't really like Carrie as much at all is because she dies at the end, and I don't really like movies where the characters die at the end. I think they're kind of pointless and stupid, and so this is the Carrie that doesn't die at the end. She lives on, and yeah, hell yeah. My number 1 final girl, if you did deduction of elimination, as I called it in the last video. I was just doing that for a joke, by the way. I knew that it was process of elimination. I just thought it sounded funnier. I promise. My number 1 final girl is Ginny from Part 2. This is a character that, like, you just really like her. Like, she seems like a really, really nice person and a really, really nice character, and she doesn't really have, like, any moment in the movie where you're like, I'm not really liking her. Like, you genuinely like this character the whole movie, and you want her to survive, even if you know she's the final girl. You really hope that it's true and that she will survive because she's just so awesome. And at the end, I really loved how she's the only character in the series to have, like, some sort of a strategy in defeating Jason in terms of, like, she thought about Jason. She thought about him as a person rather than just defeating him as a monster. Like in typical horror movies where it's like, oh no, I have to fight the Gill Man from Creature from the Black Lagoon. What do I do? Well, I'm not going to think about it logically. I'm just going to go up to him and stab him a bunch of times. But this girl, she's like, no, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to dress up like his mother, and I'm going to trick him into thinking that I'm his mother because I know what he's like, and I know that he's got mommy issues and all these things. And so, like, yeah, she's really the best. And, yeah, she's the best final girl. I will say, though, if I had to bring any final girl back for a sequel, it would probably be the one from Part 7 or Part 5. I think. Because I kind of like the fact that Jenny fought Jason. She beat him, even though you had the twist at the end. I really like that she had that great ending. And I don't really feel like you could do anything more with her. Like, if you brought her back for another movie, I feel like all you could do is ruin her. All you could do is damage her character. And like, if anything, too, it would be better to bring back some of these weak final girls so that you could, like, work on them in another movie and fix them and make them, like, better characters. Like, if I had to bring one back, I would probably challenge myself and bring back the one from Jason Takes Manhattan, because she didn't have anything going on for her. She didn't do anything. She just got a shot of heroin in New York, and she has a dog and everything. Like, yeah, her character needs a lot of work. Let's just say that. She needs a lot of fixing up with her character development. Getting a shot of heroin is not enough for Marco's book. And I also would like to say, at the very end, if you guys don't know, last year I started my Slasherverse series, which was basically just telling you guys all my pitches for what I would do for sequels. And I came up with these pitches in like 2018 or 2017, and I just kind of didn't do anything with them because I don't really like sharing everything, because I feel like I already share so much with this channel that, like, I like to keep some things, like, private and secret, actually, just secret in general. But last year I pitched that Friday the 13th Immortal, and I never said yesterday where I would rank that in the series, the pitch at least. I would say that I would rank it, like, above... I would say, in order to rank it properly, I would probably move part 2 to number 2, and then I would put my movie, Friday the 13th Immortal, in number 3. So I would want to put it above part 3, but I wouldn't want to put it above part 2. And I wouldn't want to put it above part 6. Because when I wrote Friday the 13th Immortal, I wrote it without having seen the full series, and I wrote it without really being a fan of the series. And I thought that maybe that would help, because it would make it to where I had, like, a fresh perspective, and I was more of, like, just trying to make a great movie. But looking back at that movie, I really feel like it would have been better if I was a fan of the series, because I could have fixed a couple things to make it just a better Friday the 13th movie. But in general, I still really like it. It was a lot of fun to do. I mean, the Slasherverse movies, those are probably the most fun I've ever had on the channel, honestly. Because it's fun. It's like something where there's not a lot of pressure to it. It's just me pitching a fun movie idea, and, I get to cast whoever I want, even though in real life I probably wouldn't be able to make those movies or cast them. And so it's just a lot of fun. And so if you'd like to check that out, I think I have a playlist of my Slasherverse. And I will be doing those again probably next year. Because this year I didn't feel up to it, and I feel like next year will be the perfect time. I might also be dressing up as Jason from my film for this Halloween, because I really love the mask that I came up with for the movie, and so I'd really like to test that and see how good it looks in person. And to see what you guys think about it too, because it's just fun. So anyways, please like this video, comment, tell me your least favorite and favorite final girls, and then please subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more honest movie reviews. Goodbye everybody, see you soon.